Happy New Day. It is a great day to be live and a great day to have such abundance and joy to know who you are. I'm Yanis, the Oracle of Love and Free Will. It is a great day to be live. Today is May 14th, 2020. Happy New Day, tribe. We are alive. We have arrived. We are on the journey of awakening, of ascension. It is so beautiful to have such inner peace and to have such self-love. It's of abundance. It's a freedom. It is having your power back, not being controlled by anyone or anything. And I wrote a little affirmation here that I wanted to share. Left it over there. Stay. So it says, I am fully awakened to my reality. I know who I am. I walk in power and knowing myself. I am fully awakened to my reality. I know who I am. I walk in power and knowing myself. I am out of control, meaning I'm out of being controlled, and in my own authority, means I'm operating in my own authority. I know who I am, therefore I sit in my own power. That's very powerful. Ashe to the all, Ashe to the universe, Ashe to the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, the air, the wind, fire. Ashe to all the African Orishas. Ashe to, hi, happy new day, Brandon. Ashe to you that are on my live today. My it's not my tribe, but tribe. For many of us, being brought up in different types of religion, different types of denomination, we have been labeled by different labels of like Christian, Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, all of those. And really, when you go back and begin to understand in different ancient writings that we were not called by those names at all. When spirit, if you want to use a religious book, let's go to Genesis. It says in the spirit, God created man from the dust of the earth. It didn't say that man was labeled by a different denomination. So when you have those denomination, it is actually causing division. So with divisions out of man wanting to have control, man began to put labels on everybody. So everybody began to break off and begin to be called by something. Some would be called by some type of denomination. So we were tribes. And I'm not only talking about, when it says tribes, I'm not only talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, but because, if you want to say 12 tribes of Israel, we have to even understand that the word Israel is also broken up into three different synonyms, like IS is for Isis, which is, it says is, and then the RA is Ra, and L stands for God. So that's where you get Israel. So when you talk about the tribe, 12 tribes, it's more deeper than talking about 12 nations of people, but it's deeper. And when you talk about 12 nations of people, the tribes were also, having to do with the tribes of the universe as well. The 12 tribes of the universe, because there were, in ancient Mayan writings, there are 12 crystal skulls. And when you begin to really understand that in some of the writings, like the Atlantis writing, the Lemurian writings, the tribes were spread it out. And before they were spread it out, it was called like Pangea. The land was all together. And then something happened to where everything split apart, and so those tribes were spread apart. So that's where you're getting the 12 tribes. It's not only 12 tribes of melanated people. Yes, everyone looked it like us, but it's a lot more deeper to where the tribes were gods and they were ruling everywhere. And so with the spreading out or with man's control to where you were being made to forget who you are, being God, you adapt the 12 tribes here. Because it says as above, so below. And so you begin to only read writings from a book that has been changed so often by man to really hide your identity of who you are. And not only hide your identity of who you are, it also changed you totally. And so we want to continue to talk about self-love. And so I been going really deep within understanding about self-love, because self-love is everything. You really, for me, you really can't really move forward in life if you really don't love yourself. Because when a person doesn't really love themselves, they're not going to be able to love anybody. And so with us being programmed to not love ourselves and to just work and work and work and be like a robot and do things the way others want it to be done, you begin to start being programmed to think less of yourself. And so self-love is the first thing, as I shared on yesterday. Self-love is where our healing started taking place. And because in life we've made so many different choices and been programmed to make a lot of choices that doesn't really make us feel comfortable. And so when we begin to go within ourselves on this spiritual journey of understanding that, do we really love ourselves? Do you really love yourself? And a lot of people think that loving yourself is really on the level of buying material things. That's good in a way. To me, self-love would be, writing down my notes, is cherishing everything about yourself. When you feel that you make different mistakes, when you feel that are you alone, when you feel that nobody cares about you, self-love is that it doesn't matter whether somebody else care about me or not. I love myself enough to know that I love myself no matter what. Happy New Year, Miss Benson. Loving yourself, all right. Loving yourself is so much powerful that a lot of us, we've gone through life so much that we put others before ourselves. We put caring about our family members more than ourselves. And that's a part of the roles that as a mother, that's our mother's, we've mother responsibility. Mother, as a female, we've been known to just do that. We put everybody else before ourselves, and then ourselves last. And so going through life, we look after everybody. We look after, if you're married, you look after the mate. You look after, if you have children, you look after the children. If you have dogs, you look after the pets. So, and then you put yourself last. And that's not really loving yourself. That's not even really knowing yourself. When you still have to take time to know yourself. You have to take time to love yourself, because it begins to draw up resentment. It begins to draw all types of emotions. As a female, she is one that really holds the family together, even though the man is out there supposedly making money. The woman is really the one that holds the family together. And that is because reading the Bible, it says that in there that, a woman's place is to be in the home, and that the man is supposed to be out working and the woman's supposed to take care of the children. So that has also a controlling factor as well, because it has lessened the power of the woman, and lessening the power of the female gives her less ability to know who she is really. And so when you on this spiritual path of awakening, because the feminine energy and the masculine energy, when you begin to understand the universal laws of the law of polarity, you begin to really understand that you are divine masculine and you are divine feminine. And so the poles, you are both. And that everyone that has come through the womb of a woman is both. Um, is both. You are both. You have divine feminine and you have divine masculine inside of you. And so, with the teaching and what we have been programmed to receive, we pretty much only know that when you're born up into the age of 8, that you're not aware of, you don't even know what sex you are. A lot of us have the issue according to the organs that is you're born into this planet with, that defines who you are. Sex can be defined in many ways. Sex can be defined as male and female. Sex can be defined as masculine and feminine. Sex can be defined as your nationality or race, who you are. Sex can be defined in many ways. And so self-love is very important. Going through this school of university here in this planet, we are to where, for me, understanding that we were taught love by stipulations, like what is really love. We have definitions of love in the Bible. Let's say love, unconditional love, agape love. There are all different types of love. I didn't write any of them down, but I'm just going off of what I can remember when I really used to study the Bible, because I was one that lived that Bible in and out, backwards, forwards, sideways. I could quote scriptures with my eyes closed, and then outside of my life, nothing else really mattered other than religion. When I was growing up, when I had my children all was raised in religion. And when I went into religion, I was becoming a Christian, I went in full speed ahead. Nothing else mattered. I only did according to what was in that Bible. And everything else outside that Bible to me was considered as a sin, and it was of the devil. That's what I was actually being programmed to believe. And that is the way I brought my children up. And then when I moved into the next stage of my life, into understanding Hebrew, the same thing. I realized that everything that I was... same Bible, same book, but what I was learning from Hebrew, what I learned in Christianity was total opposite. When I got to becoming a Hebrew Israelite, I realized that all the colors, all people in the Bible changed colors, and that what I learned as a Christian was totally wrong, because what I learned was that all the characters, all the people in there was actually look like me. And then when I became a Hebrew Israelite, they all changed colors. And then when they changed skin colors, so I learned that about the commandments, the law, the 10 commandments, and then I learned about 613 laws, and then they all summed up into 2, and then love, two of them about love, and then you have the Sabbath. And so when you begin to understand all of this and not really sin, because I found out that when I was going through all these different types of religion, one of the things they lack to me is love. Because in this school that you were in religion, that because every religion is different, everything was different, and that you learn they were missing something, so they ain't got it. And this one didn't have the name. This one didn't have the name. In the name they called Jesus. Oh, it's not Jesus because it wasn't no J. Because it wasn't no J. Around to the 1600, the letter J didn't come into existence. It came with created by a monk with a hook and all this stuff. And so all of this was what I was learning, that, his name was Yeshua. And so all this learning that I was learning, I was teaching this to my children, and not realizing that the more I was learning, the more I was beginning to miss something was missing. Because certain groups you couldn't associate with, because they didn't think like you. They wasn't a part of what you were in. So therefore they didn't think like you, and therefore what they thought, the way they was participating in their religion was not of God. And then in Christian, that group over there was not participating where they were. That's not God, so therefore that's not love. And so the biggest thing I saw with me in religion is that it was lacking love. Not only love for myself, it was lacking love among people. And among people, there was stipulation by the love. And then I began to see that if you didn't participate in a lot of the different things that was going on in the organization, it was not love. And then you begin to have been made to have certain convictions. If you didn't go here on certain days, if you didn't do certain things, you didn't join this group, or you didn't join this organization, if your name was on this road, you didn't take part in this, and that was not love. And then then you said, they would say that you done fell back. Then I went through the road, and I'm talking about all the self-love, because I was going down this road of losing my identity of who I was, or who I am. Because everything that I participated, I lost me. When I became a Christian, I didn't know who Denise was. When I became a Hebrew, I didn't know who Denise was. Because when I became a Christian, I was programmed into being something that I really didn't know. I just did it because this is what my mom and my mom, not my dad, but my mom, them raises us into being. And so therefore, I really didn't know myself. And so, but I participated in it, and I learned that Bible, and I knew that Bible, and I could quote that scripture, because this was I was programmed into being this individual as a Christian. And then when I became an Israelite, Hebrew Israelite, I became someone else, only according to what was read in that Bible. So that's who I was. I became the individual as being a Hebrew Israelite. I read the Bible. I read a book of the Enoch. I read the book of Jasher. I read a lot of the books and things. Everything I read, that's what I became. And I raised my children into that same thing that I was being, Happy New Day, leaving it unlocked because somebody's going to come, what I was programmed into being. And so in that process, I was beginning to lose myself in who I was. Not only me, but I know my children was losing who they were, because I never let them participate in a lot of things. When we was in Christian, honey, when I was a Christian, I didn't let them go to movies and stuff. They really didn't go around family, because honey, the other families that wasn't Christians and stuff, they lost. They were going to hell. And that was seeing that stuff that they was doing when they was going dancing and having parties and stuff. My kids didn't participate in this stuff, because I didn't let them. And then when they would go around them, there were certain things I just didn't let my children participate in, because I was a Christian. And in the Christian Bible, it said that they couldn't do all this stuff. And so that's where I was, y'all. And so I was losing myself. I didn't even have an identity of who I was. I didn't know who Denise was. I knew who this religious person was, all because of according to a book. And so when you go to church and stuff, and you listen to a preacher preach this stuff to you all the time, you begin to be programmed, and you take on the identity of somebody else, not you. And then when you next stage in life, for me, it was Hebrew. And then I began to change into this other individual with the head covering, with the dress wear, with the eating, changing of food, with the days of the week, and knowing the gods, all of that. I still was being changed into something that was not me. I didn't know myself. And so on this spiritual path of awakening now, I am beginning to understand self-love. I went through these changes, these stages in life, this is where you go in this universal school to understand who you are and self-love. And so in this spiritual awakening, now you are on the spiritual path of why you went through what you went through, and you are able to see what you went through and why. Clear of identification for me relating to it. They gave me the butterfly, and the stages of the butterfly that the butterfly went through. You know, the butterfly started out as a little worm, and it ate so much And all of this is just like me. I ate so much from different books I read, different teaching I received. I ate that as a worm. And then I went into the cocoon stage. And the cocoon stage was where I was taken from, out of all of it, out of being a Christian, I was taken out of being a Hebrew, into where I was taken, I guess it would be like, if I used the Bible, it would be like John gave the description being on the island of Patmos. I was where in my house where when I went through that stage of being like having the sick part of with the ringing in my ear and stuff, having to go to the doctors and all this. So that was actually the cocoon stage, into where I was in there made to be where I just had to be by myself and only hear spirit speak to me. And hearing spirit speak to me, it was like totally different. Not what I had been in, not where I was before, but I was hearing like a still small voice. And this voice was just talking to me, letting me know what was actually happening to me, this transformation that was taking place in my life. And so the transformation was taking place in my life was a transformation of an understanding of knowing myself. And man, when I say knowing myself, it was like having visions of why I came here, why I incarnated here for real, and more revelation of to what really reality actually is, and why I was seeing things, why I was as a child, why I was able to see different, why I was able to see angels, why I was able to have visions, why I was able to not eat certain foods, why I didn't like certain foods, why I wasn't allowed to get in certain things as a child, why I was seemed like, people call it a loner, why I just didn't fit in with everybody else. And it was being revealed to me in this cocoon. And so as I began to change inside the cocoon and digest everything I had eaten, and then begin to understand my love for crystals, understand why I love crystals, understand why I was seeing so many different numbers, 144, why the ringing in my ears, all of a sudden it just started, y'all. It wasn't like all my whole life I started hearing ringing. No, I didn't start hearing ringing in my ear until this last stage in life, to where it was begin to understand the frequencies, because I was starting to understand I was energy, frequency, and vibration my whole life, lining up with the cosmos. I began to understand it like, wow, y'all, if I could, I'm explaining it a lot to where hopefully that where you can really understand. Self-love is the most important thing, because for a long time in my life I blame myself. I blame myself for different choices and things I made in life. That was a part of my learning, part of the schooling that I went through. When I say being a single mom, having to raise my children myself, I blame myself for the marriages. I blame myself for the abuse relationship with the first husband. I blame myself. But, all of that was a part of what I went through for me to arrive right here. Because when I went through abuse, even less, not even loving myself, because I was finding myself. And I knew that going through this life changing, that I knew the most important thing at that time was to keep my family together, keep my 3 children together, being a provider, getting an education to where I could support my children. And during that stage, my children, I think for me, my children was one of the strongest part of my life, to where they held me together and with love. They knew something was happening with their mother, but they couldn't really explain it. They knew I was going through a lot of changes, and they never questioned it. If mom did something, they just went along with it. And so I'm grateful in this uh, changes that I was going through, that my children supported me. But on this spiritual path of awakening now, my children have to find their own path themselves. They have to go within themselves to know themselves. That's what they have to do. They have to know what self-love is. They have to know that they are creators. They have to know that they create their own reality, and they have to give an account for every word that they say out of their mouth. Because when they say words and they, everything we say, we create our reality for what's the next stage we go to in life. We are creating our own reality. And this is what I know that my children are seeing now in their, as they see their mom on the live, as they see their mom in person. They may not understand. At first, they probably didn't understand why mom started burning candles, why I started doing rituals, why I am started learning about energy, learning that everything is energy, everything vibrates on a different frequency, why I connect with talking to the angels, why I connect with talking to our ancestors, all of this understanding that all of this is a part of our reality, that who we are. And is that learning that we've always lived, because the energy never dies. And I know that a lot of all of my children, to where because they come through me, so I am a spiritual being, and they are a spiritual being on their spiritual path, and they are going through this awakening, that they have these questions and things that they have to answer within themselves. And so, as I say, we've been going through self-love affirmations. I want to share this also because I said self-love, forgiving yourself for choices and things that you made in life. If you felt that you made choices in life that you think that because of the choices that you made in life, they have held you back. So you ask yourself for forgiveness. And you know what, y'all, this is what I did today when I was driving, and I asked my guys, I say, well, why do we have to ask ourselves for forgiveness when there is no such thing as sin? And so if there's no such thing as sin, and there's no such thing as good and bad, why do we have to ask ourselves for forgiveness? And my guys will share with me is that because we are on the third dimension and the fourth dimension, and the realm that we're in, and our subconscious mind has been programmed in this type of conscious. Our subconscious has been programmed to where we believe the good and bad. We believe sin, have been believed to be programmed to believe sin does exist. So therefore, it is a part of the program. So when we begin to ask ourselves for forgiveness, it is like the law of polarity. You're balancing out the pole, and therefore it is aligning you up to the fifth 5D. And so that is help correcting in your heart chakra, the love, to connecting you becoming one. Because I was showing on, and I'm like, okay, I know according to the universal laws, there is not good or bad. There's only positive and negative. There's no such thing as sin, because there was no savior that came and saved you. You are your savior. You are a creator, that God, you are one with God. God is source, and you are the same. And so I questioned that, and that's the answer I got, because we are on the 3D and 4D. This is the realm that we're in. So therefore, this is how our subconscious has been programmed into believing that. So we're correcting that with self-love and accepting our past, our wounds and things that we have encountered as a child. We accepted that. We're asking ourselves to forgive whatever choices and things. It could be abortion. It could be a lot of stuff. If you did a lot of drinking and all this stuff, murder, whatever, all this stuff that you think that you did because according to whatever you actually believe. So you're asking your inner child to forgive you, because that's going within the heart chakra, which is love. And the heart chakra has to do with love. And so the heart chakra colors are green and pink. And see, I don't even know if a lot of these fraternity things that are my daughter participate, aka their colors are pink and green. And so they have to do with the heart chakra. There are a lot of them. Others are different colors. And I know that the heart chakra is the rose quartz crystal is for the heart chakra. The malachite crystal is also for the heart chakra. They are sister stones, crystals. So even in that. So let's say these self-love affirmation I want to share every day as often as I can. So let me turn this down a little bit more. Self-love deserves special attention because it is the absolute foundation of our lives. It is the key to loving relationship and healthy self-confidence. And you know what? One of the things that we really need to love is this body, our body that we're in, because this is like a ship. Because you are a universe. The body is very important that we love it. We are becoming conscious that how we should love our body. How do you love your body? Becoming conscious, and you becoming conscious of what you put in your body. You becoming conscious of how you take care. What about your feet? Because our feet is what keeps us grounded. We should take care of our feet. We should take care of our organs in our body. We should be conscious of what we put in our body. We should be conscious of what we drink. We should be conscious of what we look at. We should be conscious of what we hear. We should be conscious of what we touch. Because becoming conscious, because that is all loving ourselves. Before, we didn't care about what we put in our body. We didn't care what we did with this body before we became conscious. Because when we was in our subconscious that was being programmed, and they flashed all this stuff before us, hey, eat that red meat. Not even knowing that we had an agreement with animals and that we're not to kill animals. We're not to eat animals. We're not to drink their blood. We're not to eat their blood. A lot of us, when we was in our subconscious was being programmed, like they said, eat the meat raw. We didn't even know, because even if I use the Christian Bible, it says life is in the blood. And so a lot of us, we didn't know that. And we just did that anyway. They say when you go to these restaurants and you go to the steak place and they say, how do you want your meat cooked? They say medium rare. Medium rare means it says just flip it on the side. Just let it burn a little bit. Flip it to where I can see that they had the grill lines. And then when it did that, when they bring it back and let me see the blood. And because we were our subconscious mind was programmed into that everything was all right with that. But in ancient writing and stuff, we didn't eat animals. We didn't eat animals. We had an agreement with animals. And because of who you are, animals have spirit. And when you eat meat and stuff, guess what? They are energy. When you eat meat, certain types of meat, all meat really, the spirit of that animal goes within. Whatever type of spirit that animal, what type of emotion that animal was killed in, that energy goes within you. Then you see a lot of people walk around like a chicken. Then you see a lot of people, body looks like cows. I mean, all of those animals were sacred. And they were not killed. Not for us to eat, not like that. Anyway, I don't know why I had to share that, but that was something having to do with self-love. All right, let's get back to this. Self-love is the ability to accept yourself with all your flaws and imperfection. Self-love is the ability to accept yourself with all your flaws and imperfection, to accept yourself as a human being that is worthy of love, peace, and respect. That is self-love. Self-love is when you accept yourself just the way you are. I know a lot of us have been programmed to see how they put the pictures of the models and things on the TV, and you know, they have the models have their bodies at a certain shape and a certain shape. The breast is a certain size, the butt is a certain size, the waist is a certain size. And so they put this before you. They program in your subconscious. So therefore they program your subconscious, and then you want to get your body like that because your subconscious is programmed like that. Then you look at that individual and say, "Ooh, I want my breast that size. I want my waist that size. I want my bottom that size. And then, you know, I want a tummy tuck." And so you program, and then you're not loving yourself. You're not loving yourself the way you are. If you are loving yourself, you love yourself regardless of what. And loving yourself means that you begin to start working on the areas in your life that you feel that needs to be adjusted. Not by going up under a knife. But that's up to you. And then once you go up under a knife, then you start having complications and stuff, because your body is sacred. Your body is sacred. It's all energy, and you can manifest. You can use affirmations and stuff to program to start manifesting your body in the shape that you want it to be. But the system is designed to keep your subconscious mind programmed into desiring things that to make you not love yourself. That's what it's all about. That's why you see certain things on TV. That's why you see certain things on the Facebook. On the your telephone. They They push all this stuff, flash all this stuff out to you. So you have to love yourself. And so, especially for married people as well as anybody, it's not just married people. Because when you marry, you become one. So you love yourself just like you love your mate. And then when you love yourself and you love your mate, you're conscious of what you say to your mate. Because your mate is you. And because we all came from the same source. Remember, according to the law of polarity, you are divine masculine and you are divine feminine. In the poles, you are one. It would be just the same way, would be like I said, the North Pole and the South Pole. Because when we were being brought up in these other schools, we didn't learn about the universal laws. And the universal laws are operating in our life now. They have always operated in our life because we are a universe. There's a macro universe and a micro universe. We are the small universe. And the planets and things are moving around within us. And the universe is mental. According to the Kybalion, it says the universe is mental. Mental. In our heart, which is the earth. If you spell heart backwards, you're going to get the word earth. That's our heart. The heart is the earth. Do we love the earth? Because if we love the earth, we love our heart. So, let's keep going. Everyone is unique, and if we love and expect ourselves exactly the way we are, we're opening doors to new opportunity. When you love yourself just the way you are, and not trying to hide yourself, not lying to yourself, you know, I'm getting into where I just look in the mirror and tell myself I love myself, regardless of how, you know, even though my teeth is going to be fixed or whatever, even though it's not loose or anything. I guess it's just decided to come down, hang down like it is, but it's not loose. And so therefore I've been to the dentist, and there was time I had to go to another dentist. But, you know, I went to an area to where I didn't like my mouth. Now I love my mouth. I love my mouth, and the time of change. When it's time to change it, it is going to change. I don't care what people say about my mouth. You know, some people turn away from the channel because they look like, oh, once you get a mouth fixed. But you know what? I love you anyway. We're opening the door to new opportunities, new life approach, and new relationship. The more I love myself, the better our overall health. The more I love myself, the more healthy I am. A lot of us have different ailments with going on with our body. It's because we don't love ourselves. We hate ourselves, to which cause all types of our organs and things to start functioning in a negative way. When we love ourselves, and we start telling our kidneys we love our kidneys, we love our heart, we love our liver, we love our pancreas, we love our intestine, we love our gallbladder, we love our liver. When you start telling your body and stuff that you love it, guess what? It'll start functioning the way it's supposed to function because it knows that you love it. A lot of us just don't tell our body that we love it, and therefore it don't feel love. And so therefore, when you don't feel love, do you feel like functioning in a certain way? If you don't love you, if you don't feel that you're being loved, you don't give your 100% on a job. If you feel like the job didn't appreciate you, the owner don't appreciate you, do you give 100%? No, you come into the job and you just lag around like, I'm just here just to be here. But if you feel that the owner loves you, you give 100%. And then you know, your kidneys know that you love them because you know it knows that, hey, she loved me because she ain't putting certain things in her body. She ain't killing me with no soda. And the kidney said, don't she know I love her? Don't she know that I love her? And why is she putting acid inside of me if she know I love her? Don't she know I help her to go to the bathroom? You know, stuff like that. I'm just examples. I love every facet of my existence. I love every part of what makes me what I am. Every part what makes me what I am. You know, I joke around. If that's what makes me what I am, I love it. I love it. I joke with people, but it's in a positive way, not in a negative way. I have complete unconditional love within me because I love everyone with unconditional love. I don't love people because of. I love people with unconditional love. Unconditional love. Unconditional love is what I love everybody. And all of my children are different. My oldest is totally different. He jokes all the time. He's totally different. The middle child is very much different. He is one that if you say no, he's not one that likes to hear no. He's totally different. The youngest child, she is totally different. She is a go-getter. Each one of my children came into this planet to teach me a lesson, to help me complete what I come here to do. One, Camellia is a communication. She communicates. Levante is a very well spoken person. Brandon tells me, why you procrastinating? He always gets behind me. If I say I'm going to do something, he calls me to make sure I get it done. And, to make sure I don't lag around and be sitting around not getting things done. Each one of them came in here, each one of them playing a role in my life to make sure I complete what I come here to do. That's what children are born for. They came here, they were born through the womb of the mother to make sure they complete what they come here to do. And that is for the Father too. Because they came straight from the universe. They have a closer connection in what you do. All right. I am the great I am. I am the infinite power within. I am the divine force. Beside me there is no other. I am the Savior, there is no other. I am my healer. I am my deliverer. I am faith. I am trust. I am Christ, the awakened one, the illuminating one. I am conscious. I am inspired. I am awakened. I am wealthy. I am rich. I am abundant. I am grateful. I am thankful. I am blessed. I am spirit. I think. I feel. I act. I know. I am source energy. I am the universe. I am one with the Creator. I am God. I am that I am. I am God. And those are some of the affirmations that I wrote. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. In knowing that love yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think. You dress a certain way. Hey, you don't even want to do nothing to your hair. And you happy with it, love yourself. If you don't even want to, put on certain clothes, and you love yourself, that's you. Just love yourself. Hey, knowing yourself. Walk in love. I'm Yanice, the Oracle of Love and Free Will. And I'm great that you joined my live today. You can connect with me on my Instagram, Denise McLaughlin, Yanice1. You can connect with me on my YouTube channel, Yanice1. As you are now, you are connecting with me on my live. And I am so grateful. My website, soon to come, Elements Unlimited in the working. You can join with me on that. Connect with me. If you're going to need candles, rituals, reading, you can connect with me also. As well as other things, incense. There's a number of things that we have. Crystals. You can connect with me and receive those. I love you. Find your bliss in everything that you do. Be happy all day. Tell someone that you love them. But first of all, most important thing, tell yourself that you love yourself. And you are loved. Enjoy your life. Peace.